In this lecture, I intend to familiarize you and the recently qualified executives from a transition from student to a executive. Whilst you leave the college, your stress has been on marks. There has been no formal or informal training how to go about facing the rigors of a corporate life. While you may be aware of the corporate requirements, I feel that this topic needs to be put into proper perspective for the fresh job aspirants. You have been selected maybe on a temporary job or a permission management training. You must familiarize yourself with the workplace environment. See, once you are studying in a campus, you are fresh from education institute with all the freedom. There are institutions which have formal character and there are institutes which have a informal character. So, in an institute, college institute, you have the freedom of the world. You are absolutely at your own self. There is no compulsion of the environment except at the year end when there is the marks. Your duties and responsibilities are limited. Your accountability was only marks. But once you change into corporate environment, your responsibilities become quite different. So, when you have left the college, everybody around you is anticipating a change in your life. Friends expect you to now do much better in life. Your friends look up to you. Okay, this guy is going to now go up and become a executive, then a senior executive, progress in life. There's the family who has expectations from you, expectations in terms of a good career, a good marriage, good children, growth for themselves and the other family members. You have a work environment. You have a work environment where you are expected to perform. Then, in this case, that you have to compromise on your free time adjustments because as a student you had a lot of free times. You did not need to adjust yourself, but now you will have to adjust yourself. You will have to adjust to new cities, new accommodation and new way of approaching your personal finances because by and large the dependence on the parents is over. Now you have to be depending on your own self. So let us say what are the improvements required when you are transforming yourself from a student to an executive. Make yourself corporate ready. Make yourself corporate ready means that you study the reports of the companies, study their websites, decide on what kind of a career you are looking at and try and improve your knowledge about that particular field. If you are going into engineering, you have to have a different approach. If you are going into service sector, then you need to improve in a slightly different manners. Improve your skills for the interview. Up till now, you never thought of interview, never thought that you'll be appearing in interview. But interview matters a lot. Interview is a stage for your go no go career. So for an interview you have to understand the employer. You have to understand the environment. You have to understand yourself and then perform in an interview. Apart from this, you have to improve your communication skills. Communication skills must become better. These are a topic in itself, but more so in communication, you should improve in your business communication. Business communication can be an email, it can be a report writing, it can be talking in a corporate meeting, briefing your seniors, writing an agenda, writing a project report. It can be of a different type. Next comes confidence building. You must have confidence in yourself that you can perform the job. Confidence only comes from knowledge and will. So you have to acquire knowledge of the new environment. You have to have a will. You have to have the attitude that you are going to make your mark in life. Then another aspect you need to improve is teamwork. You have to work with your juniors, you have to work with your seniors. While you were alone in a college life, but as an executive, you are expected to be part of a group. You are expected to be part of a company, organizations, and there is a group performance, group interaction that you must realize. Why I am talking for all this is because in interview, the interviewer would like to assess you for these qualities, and since you have time at your hand, you should be able to improve on these qualities. Next comes presentation skills. Presentation skill means how you write a report, how do you talk to a person, whether it is a junior or a senior, or whether you are expected to present, make up PPTs or various other kinds of report. So presentation skills become a very important part of an executive's life. Until you don't get a job, you should be looking at this kind of activity. Then comes personality. Personality is a very vague term, but we would link it with another term called first impression. You should be able to make a good first impression on your superiors, your peers, your juniors, and this is very essential because this will go in long way in progressing your career. Now you are stepping into the corporate life. I would give you some of the experiences of the people who entered the corporate life. They were aghast when they got a job because they had not prepared themselves for the change environment. They had never known what the new environment is going to be. So you have to improve upon dealing with other people, all type of people. All type of people can be worker, can be external customer, it can be internal customer, it can be your mechanic. So you need to deal with them. You cannot just be standoffish. You cannot just be ignore them for their from their job point of view. You have to know how to deal with various kinds of people. Then you should know your personal issues, money, budgeting. It's not that you're getting now money from your parents. You have to budget. You have to budget for your self-improvement. You have to budget for your personal grooming. So once you are living now on your own, there has to be a balancing work demands and with the work and with the family and friends. You cannot be completely work alcoholic and later become a mental wreck. You cannot be completely from your friend side and neglect your work. And now, as you are entering into corporate life, you should know what are the job hunting skills, how you can promote yourself, how to network, how to do salary negotiations, because these all become a very important part of a executive's life. These are some of the improvements which you need to make when you are growing. As an upcoming executive, you must be familiar with the work environment. You must think of the organization growth, also your personal growth. You must understand the demands of a workplace. And during the spare time, you should use to mull, think, and improve on what I am trying to tell you. In a change workplace requirements, there is a more focus on standardized norms of behavior. Now, standardized norms of behavior differ from organization to organizations. In some organizations, you can be dressed in a jeans and a t-shirt. In some organizations, you have to be properly dressed with a necktie. You have to have a reporting this thing, reporting culture. You cannot go drunk while you may have done the same thing in your class. So you have to follow the norms of the organization which is going to take you in or what has taken you in. You have to avoid the conflict of interest. Conflict of interest means your personal interest, organization interest, your peers' interest. You have to be in a position to find the right course of action. Because if you are taking a selfish stance, it will be immediately noticed. You have to maintain confidentiality of the organization. You should not be discussing the confidentiality of the organization. Now, how will I judge in the interview that can you cope up with things? If I was to ask you to interview, tell me something about your old organization, and you start telling their secrets, well, I know that you're not the guy to be trusted. You maybe want to make me happy, but the interviewer will know that this guy cannot be kept the confidential secrets which are essential to your working. Then maintain a positive attitude. You have to maintain a positive attitude throughout your work period. It just can't be a negative attitude. It can't be attitude of doom, but you have to be a particularly positive attitude and a do attitude and a can do attitude. Now I will try to summarize the differences between a campus life and a corporate life. Campus life is individual based. The corporate life is team based. A campus life is self planned. You plan for yourself. In a corporate life, you have to plan according to the projects, according to the tasks given to you. In a campus life, you could do last minute preparation. Well, all of us have done it. Study the last day, burn the midnight oil, and appear in the paper next day, consult somebody else in the examination, and well, there you are. But in a corporate life, you have to maintain day to day work discipline. In a campus life, your answers are available to you and known to you. Answer is good marks at the end of year, that is known to you. In a corporate world, you do not know the solutions. You are expected to find the solution to the problem. So, from not to find a solution to the problem, your attitudes, ideas have to change. Then you remember the answers in a campus life, where in a corporate life you do not remember the answers because no answer is correct. One answer may be correct for one senior, second answer may be correct for second senior. Same thing goes for the organization. Now, when you are in a campus scenario, your dealings are, your performance is on a mark basis. Marks, how much you got. But once you're in a corporate sector, your results, your value is in terms of productivity based. A person has to know how much of productivity you have uh, been able to deliver. So now I'll repeat once again the improvements required, which we have already gone through, which is corporate ready, interviewing skills, communication skills, confidence, teamwork, and now we come on to some tips once you are being selected. See, transition stage was one stage. Now you're into corporate. Now you have to see other stage. In this case, you have to learn the culture of the company, culture of the workplace, culture of your department. You have to learn that. You have to have the right attitude. As stated earlier, you cannot be prophet of doom. You have got to be can do attitude, and you have to encourage other persons to have the same. Impressions which you make on your peer group, your senior, your juniors are very important. The relationship which you develop with your various other departments are equally important. You may be productivity based, exceptional guy, but your relationship with accounts, supports, and other systems are not up to the mark. You're always in the conflict zone. Then that is not expected. Now, next thing is limit expectations. An executive who joins want to be managing director tomorrow. Can he be? He cannot be. So limit your expectations, wait for the time, wait for the opportunity to come to progress and rise up in an organization. Anybody who has very wild expectations is not likely to be a good member of the organization. Next is ask questions. Ask intelligent questions. Ask questions by which your own knowledge improves. Ask questions to show that you are interested in the organization. So these are some of the ideas which I have shared with you. Also, when you are in the job, listen and observe. Listen and observe. There is no need to talk extra. You have to be beware of the office troublemakers. How they are making trouble. You should not be seen part of them. That so that your boss feels that you're also a troublemaker or a union leader. Again, mind your own manners. Manners are up to various kinds. You have to understand the manners can be in the office, managers can be in a cultural sector. So you have to have your manners up to date with the requirements. Keep your ear to the grapevine. Grapevine means if there is some undercurrent of discontent in an organization, you should be able to find out that, and you should be able to report it, provided it is in the interest of the organizations. Some people may not like it, but then it is a part of you to inform the person's concern in case the situation is going to turn a very serious nature. Then advise and avoid conflict of interest, and do not divulge confidential information. So I do hope I have given you some idea for thought, and my suggestion would be that you listen to this video twice or thrice, and you'll have some ideas embedded in your mind, and you'll be able to plan your transition very smoothly. Thank you so much.